have such wonderful memories.
I remember when...
I remember the service of the consecration.
I remember when the opening communion.
It was 50 years ago that a group of Orthodox faithful that called themselves the Fellowship had it on their hearts to establish a new Orthodox parish in the Bay Area. In September of 1971, Bishop Meletios called a meeting where 72 Orthodox faithful signed a petition which established a new parish, a place we now call our home, the Resurrection Church of Castro Valley. Father George Stephanides and Presbytera Elaine traveled from Lowell, Massachusetts to be assigned as our first parish priest. And as Presbytera Elaine recalls,
We were flooded with so many emotions. Excitement for the opportunity. Father George always dreamed of starting a parish and building a church. I remember when we arrived at Oakland Airport that November day, we were so overcome with emotion to see a welcome committee of all the families who would be the founding members of the parish.
the first service of the newly established parish was held on November 21, 1971, at the Snow Building, which is just outside the Oakland Zoo. And as Themis Juthith remembers that first service,
And the animals would start saying hi.
so with the sound of monkeys and elephants in the background, Resurrection Church got its start. The first meeting of the new parish council was held at Piper's Restaurant in San Leandro. It was at this meeting that Father Stephanides asked that the new parish be named the Resurrection, which the council enthusiastically endorsed. And Father Stephanides noted that this would be the first Orthodox parish thus named in the United States at that time. In search of a more permanent location, the parish rented facilities at Eden Church on Grove Way in Hayward, and the first liturgy was held January 2nd in 1972. The following January, Father Stephanides led the congregation to take a look at a property on Center Street. The parish enthusiastically committed itself to the purchase of the Center Street property, and on February 4th, the first Divine Liturgy was held with a full congregation present. This now has been our parish home for over 48 years. The year was 1974 when Father Chris Maniadakis came to serve as our second parish priest, and it was during his tenure that on a beautiful morning in April of 1980, our church was consecrated by Bishop Anthony of blessed memory. In a beautiful ceremony, the parishioners, led by the clergy, circle the church 3 times, with the holy relics of 3 saints being held by Bishop Anthony. Between each of the 3 processions, there are scriptural readings, followed by Bishop Anthony approaching the main door of the church. As Bishop Anthony raps on the door, he says these words, "Open, open the gates, and let them remain open forever, and let the King of Glory enter." The consecration of the church revolves around the consecration of the altar table, for it represents the center of all sacraments and rites. The relics of the saints are then placed into a small gold box. Those holy saints in our altar being Saint Jarius and Samonas, celebrated on November 15th, and also Saint Anastasia, celebrated on December 22nd. After placing the holy relics in a cavity in the altar, the opening is sealed shut with wax mastic. In the fall of 1980, Father Chris Maniadakis, after having served as our priest for 6 years, was transferred to the Assumption Church in Seattle, Washington, to be replaced by Father Michael McCready's and Presbytera Jenny. As Father Michael and Presbytera Jenny's son, Michael, remembers,
they felt the warmth of the parishioners there in Castro Valley.
Father Michael energized the parish and established a permanent building committee chaired by Alex Phillips. Sadly, Father Michael fell asleep in the Lord while attending the Presbyteers' Council meeting in Chicago in February of 1983. There was not a permanent priest available to take Father Michael's place until the bishop told Father Tom of Ramis,
"I'm going to send you to a parish in California called Castro Valley."
At that point, Father Tom had a little problem.
I couldn't find it on a map. All I could find on a map was Castroville.
After locating the correct town, Father Tom says,
We fell in love with the place.
the building committee became very active under the leadership of Father Tom, and in November 1983, the parish held its mortgage burning celebration with Bishop Anthony officiating. In 1986, the first annual Labor Day retreat was held at St. Nicholas Retreat Center, on land generously donated by Nick and Sandy Caceres to the San Francisco Diocese. Since that time, this annual event has been a highlight on the church's calendar. It's a special time when parishioners can come together to enjoy fellowship, a little music, a little friendly competition, and some spiritual renewal on the beautiful monastery grounds. In 1988, a plan that had started in 1981 came to fruition with the opening of our community center. In June of 1991, Father Tom of Ramos accepted the position of Chief Operating Officer of the Guadalupe Home for Children and handed the keys of the parish over to our new priest, Father Jim Ratellis.
It was a privilege and a blessing to come to Castro Valley after serving 4.5 years at the cathedral in San Francisco. And I was so excited to have my own church, if you will, quote unquote, my own church, the Lord's Church. And it was my first pastorate.
Father James and Presbytera Barbara served our parish between 1991 and 1994, during which time we renovated the church to increase the seating, and we also started the Rise and Shine preschool. And what Father Jim remembers about Resurrection Church.
But what I remember so vividly about Resurrection Castro Valley is the respect, the total respect they had for the priest. Not as a person so much, but as the priest, and supporting him and honoring his office.
When Bishop Anthony in 1994 transferred Father Jim to Holy Trinity in Portland, Oregon, Father Photios Dumont and Presbytera Kathy came to serve as our 5th parish priest. During his and his family's 10 years at Resurrection, Father Photios revitalized the Bible study meetings and emphasized the importance of prayer, fasting, and confession. Father Photios has a cherished memory of the parishioners of Resurrection at a period of time shortly after his father passed away.
I had to go to Sacramento for his funeral. And the following day after his funeral, I had to go to the ranch for a Labor Day retreat. And I was so down, so sad, that I did not want to go to the ranch at all. And Abbess Markella said something to me. She said, you know what, you're going to go to that retreat, and when you get there, your people are going to comfort you. And you know what? And so, you know what happened? We pulled into the parking lot. It was nighttime. And people just started to swarm around me into the parking lot after we had arrived, and were hugging me. And I could not believe it. I was so comforted by the people who showed me so much love and compassion, and all of my grief disappeared. It is just unbelievable.
This is what a loving family is. Of historical interest to our parish, although we didn't know it at the time, Metropolitan Anthony visited us in 2004, accompanied by Deacon Johannes, now His Eminence Archbishop Elpidoforos. Our parish welcomed Father Michael Previs and Presbytera Mattia in 2004, when Father Photios was assigned to a new parish in Seattle.
I have such fabulous memories that really helped shape the early part of my priesthood. You know, I noticed when I arrived in August of 2004, I was greeted by a core group of wonderful parishioners who I realized were very dedicated to the faith, but more importantly, dedicated to their Church of the Resurrection in Castro Valley.
And during Father Michael's tenure as our priest, our parish family grew, as did his.
Really enjoying the blessing of having 3 of our 4 children born in Castro Valley just leaves some of the fondest and warmest memories in my heart. And it really was one of the treasures of my life to be able to serve that community.
During Father Michael's time with us, we restarted the annual golf tournament, which has been a lot of fun for the parish and has been a great fundraiser. We also returned the annual Greek festival from Centennial Hall to our parish grounds. When Metropolitan Gerasimos transferred Father Michael to the St. Nicholas Church in Northridge, we patiently waited to see who would be assigned as our new priest. At the end of 2015, we were excited to welcome Father Nico and Presbytera Stella to our parish.
I think what's special about Resurrection, this is one of the healthiest parishes I've ever seen. I mean, it's got just amazing people. There's a wonderful, wonderful dynamic of hard work, faith, fellowship, relationships.
In the years since Father Nico arrived, we've had some exciting additions to our parish. We have a wonderful youth and young adult leader in Anna Theodosiadis, a very creative communications coordinator in Renee Taylor, and they both joined Liz Levy, our wonderful and longtime church administrator. And we were so blessed this year to witness the ordination of Deacon Justin, who has so faithfully served our parish, both before and since. While we remember and honor our 50-year history, what our parish really is a family. It's a family of Orthodox faithful who come together to worship and pray together, to participate in the sacraments. We remember and honor those Orthodox faithful who 50 years ago had the faith and vision to start a new parish. And we thank them for establishing a strong foundation on which our parish now stands. And let us also remember those parishioners of blessed memory who not only helped establish and support our parish, but who also served our country. Our parish is our members, coming together to put on our annual Greek festival. From the early days when it was first held at Southland Mall, to the years we held it at Centennial Hall, and more recently at our own parish. We are the dance groups who dance for the joy of sharing our Greek heritage, and who enjoy the fellowship and competition of participating in the Folk Dance Festival. We are the men who gather together for men's fellowship, and the women who join to have Bible study. We are the members supporting the food pantry to distribute food to those in need. And we are the missionaries who travel south of the border to build homes for Mexico's poor through Project Mexico. We are the women's Philoptochos, supporting our church, putting together events and raising money for charities both within and outside the Orthodox Church, and so much more. We are the members who work diligently to put on events such as this, our Mother's Day brunches, our church's feast day, New Year's Eve, and many more. We are the Goya groups supporting our youth and young adults. We are the Sunday school teachers who instruct our children and young people in Orthodoxy. We are members of the senior group and comrades and competitors on our various sports teams. We are the parish council, and we are grateful to the many members who have served over the years, and for those who may serve in the future. We are a family with members from all walks of life, the young, the old, those who were born into Orthodoxy, and those who have come to learn the richness of the Orthodox faith. This is a family of love, faith, and communion, for which we are richly blessed to be members. And while we look back at the past 50 years and thank God for the many blessings He has bestowed upon our parish, we also set our gaze to the future in patience and anticipation to understand His plan for our community. And we thank those hardworking parishioners on the building committee who are planning for that future to build a new church home that we might continue Resurrection's mission to bring people closer to God by witnessing, proclaiming, and growing our Orthodox Christian faith and the gospel of Jesus Christ through liturgy, ministries, community, and family. This is who we are. We are the Church of the Resurrection.